Hit the blue button.
It's the blue button.
What I'd
it's
have
the blue pill, not the red
I'm
pill.
just glad I didn't hit end stream. Then we would have been in dire straits.
And that's our show, guys.
See ya. Oops. That would never happen. We tell them to not do it, and we're over here messing around and mess it all up.
You got a mouse in your pocket?
Yeah, it's all y'all's fault. You didn't know that? If I mess up, it's all y'all's fault.
I plead the fifth. I did nothing.
All right, here we go. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. Welcome to Creative Makers Podcast, episode 83. I'm Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, and we have Mustache Matt with the Wooden Mustache, BJ with Byroms Custom Woodworks, and Matt with Wackey Works. So what is going on, guys?
Good. Not a whole lot.
Just trying to be like you, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's kick it off. Let's go ahead and introduce this new segment that we're working on.
Okay.
Calling it What's Glue with You. And we're going to start with Joey. What do you got What do you got going on this week in the shop, and what do you got upcoming?
Me, man, I get thrown into the fire. The first one. Hello. I am working on the Make What You Fear project. So I'm working on a hand plane, chisel, hand saw, a hand tool cabinet, basically, is what I'm doing. So I'm going to be working on that. We're just continuing on that project. We have till the end of March to complete it. It's a 3-month project that Working Hands Podcast puts on every year. So you still have time. Just a shout out to them guys, Keith, and get over there and go check it out. It's cool. You compete with a lot of makers around the community and get bragging rights if you win it. But anyhow, I'm working on that. I got to work on some joints, and I think I'm going to do some inlay with some Purple Heart. So kind of just getting the box underneath the hand plane till. It's going to slide out, and that's going to hold all my pull saws are going to go in there. And then, just figure out storage for chisels and all the other stuff that I'm going to put in there. Some hand tools that go along with when what you're doing with that and that. So that's what I got going on.
Nice.
Well,
let's slide it over to Mustache. What you got going on?
Well, let's see. I am also planning to compete in the Make What You Fear project as well. But before I get into that, I need to. I'm taking my lumber rack completely fell down, and well, not completely fell down. It pulled away from the wall. Thankfully, everything kind of like stayed up. So I have almost everything off the wall. I got to pop all the French cleats off, and I have a different like rack style holder that I'm going to put up there. So I'm almost done with that. Probably wrap that up, and then I can get going on building the table for my CNC finally, because my Make What You Fear project, I want to use the CNC to cut out the opposite spots for the chessboard that I'm going to do. So
nice. What CNC did you get again?
I have the X-Carve with the Pone CNC spindle on it.
Heck yes.
That's what I got.
Nice.
You got Wackerle. What are you working on, brother?
I just got some cutting boards out the door, and then I got working on my CNC, doing a new spool board for it. I think I did some stories on that here recently, but doing some inlay on it with resin, and gonna flatten it back out and do a different hold down system, and then just finished up the dust collection, added some specialty parts to that to increase the airflow. So just trying to finalize those files to be able to probably start selling those files out. But that's about it. That's all I got going on right now. Nice. How about yourself, BJ?
So for me, kind of CNC related, yeah, I'm working on the CNC, and thanks to Matt, I've got one of his files right here for that. So cannot wait to get all the parts in to upgrade my dust collection on the CNC. But big thing that we're working on, just finished up. I was working with another local woodworker, finished up a massive 4 foot by 2.5 foot by 3-inch thick cutting board for a local smoke shop. They had one that big that a couple weeks ago, some of their guys dropped it when they went to clean it, and it broke into like 4 or 5 pieces. And we got to looking at it, and it was the guy who made it for them. They made it pretty cheap, pretty jankily. So we made a nice one. I say I did all the flattening work on it, but it's a hickory, sugar maple, walnut, and something else, white oak, maybe some other hardwood. There's 4 hardwoods in there. And yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm working on my other portion of it is I'm building finishing a smaller version of that cutting board. That's going to be like their, I guess, social media board. So when they're taking doing promo videos and pictures of some of the meats and stuff they smoke, they're going to have a nice, small cutting board that's going to have their logo engraved in it, that they can show off cuts of meat and, they can look sexy.
Yeah.
And we just put in a bid for a 7 foot by 3 foot, 2-inch thick desktop out of solid walnut.
Nice.
The bid comes back. It's going to be a beautiful thing because we've already found the walnut, 8/4, or found it, plain down or S3S to exactly 2 inches. So it's literally just going to be domino it, glue it together, sand it, throw some Rubio Monocoat on it, and then get it delivered because it's going on I wants to put it on a sit stand desk. Hopefully it's going to be a beast of a sit stand desk because that top is not going to be light.
It better. It better be.
Yeah. No, that's about it. Yeah, and I posted. I think I posted my stories. Worked on my daughter's Valentine's card box for school today.
Yeah,
Got that all laser cut. Found a website. Was it makerbox.com or something like that? Where you can go in and put in the measurements for the box, and it gives you all the laser cut files.
Really? Wow,
cool.
Oh, I think I've used a similar website. It might be the same one, but I did that for my little coaster boxes.
Yeah, it's and it it even designs the slide-in drawer for it. Like it is super nice.
Fancy.
It's all tabs, and you tell it how big you want it, the thickness of your plywood, and it does all the work for you. And man, it was literally just sand it, glue it together, and she's been painting on it all day.
Nice.
Cool.
So yeah,
Nice.
that's what I got going on in the shop.
Cool.
Nice.
Mustachio, why don't you good time to announce our Patreon?
Yes.
Thank you, all patrons.
I would like to thank our patrons that are supporting us right now. Mama T and Keith from Blackthorn Concepts. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. If you would like to support us and become a patron, we have links on our Instagram page as well as our YouTube page, and these videos on YouTube will have our Patreon link on there. We're doing a giveaway exclusively for patrons the end of the month, right?
On the 20th?
Is that what we decided?
Yeah, 23rd, I think it is.
23rd. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the what you can win is still a secret, but we will we'll do that. So you still have a few weeks to hop in there and support us if you would like. And thank you again.
Thank you.
So at this time, we're going to bring the man of the hour in. He's the most interesting man on the internet, and I like to call him Monster Man Friday. So let's bring him in, Mr. Trevor from Madira.
Yo.
Welcome.
What is going on, boys?
What's going on?
Hey.
How you doing, man?
I am crashing. I had my monster earlier today, so we're on the downhill slope now.
Man.
But I'm feeling good. Feeling
There
good.
you go. It's probably good. So you can crash out after this. You just go straight to bed.
That's what I'm talking about.
Not go back in the
That
shop.
would be the
but
logical
you-
thing to do, but I'll probably be up till about 2 a.m. playing video games or something dumb. So
So okay,
But
so I'm
you're-
gonna jump in. I'm gonna ask,
Okay.
what are we playing?
the only game there is to play, Call of Duty.
Yes.
Not my game of choice, but I respect it.
Yep.
That's a good game.
Yeah, I'm definitely just a run and gun kind of guy. I don't have time for
Yeah.
other things, so it is what it is.
I'm much more old school, so
Side scroll like Mario or
no, I'm way
On.
back. It's SOCOM. I was a SOCOM guy,
Minesweeper.
so
Minesweeper.
yeah, I played SOCOM. It was my running gunning game of choice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Man, I feel kind of left out of here. I don't even own a gaming.
That's because you're
So,
still
yeah.
playing Pong. You're still
Joey,
playing
so you
Pong.
know a video game is something you play on either a console or a PC with a controller, a mouse, and keyboard. It's kind of a fantasy world type thing.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, stuff like that.
Does
Yeah, they
Candy
have
Crush
farm
count? Does
simu-
Candy Crush
It
count?
does. See,
Okay,
I
well-
see you as a farm simulator kind of guy.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Me,
I did
No,
that
he's
in
a
real life.
lawnmower
I don't
guy.
need it.
A lawn
A lawnmower
care
guy. How
Hey,
the hell
I
does
have-
that come into it?
I have
lawnmower guy.
I have Lawn Care Simulator, and that is actually a fun game to play. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm.
You know, I mean, if you just want to burn brain cells, it's a fun game to play.
Huh.
So,
Well, you know. So, man, how's the shop, man? You watching your stories? You're busy. So we kind of just like to hit on that subject today. You know, we've already interviewed you, so we don't need to know anything else about you.
I wouldn't
didn't
tell
get
you
my
anything
question.
else about me either.
But
No,
one of
the shop is great. I've been busy working on orders and stuff, but I've had a couple of free days, or free days, what I call them, where I'm kind of caught up on orders and YouTube's a little bit taken care of, and so I've just been working on a couple just shop projects, trying to get my shop a little more organized, because let's be real, we can all use more organization in our shops.
it's an ongoing
Oh,
project.
yeah, never ending project.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
so did you ever? You always ask a lot of questions, and man, I was heartbroken yesterday when you messed up and cut your drawer front wrong, and I was like, no, he didn't. He didn't.
You know, I had actually forgotten about that, and you just had to bring it up.
Well,
Well, I'm going to tell you, quite honestly, I was kind of happy about it because it was like, I'm not the only one.
Dude, I was so bummed, man. I was burning scraps at the same time, and I have a insane dog, and he loves to bite at the fire, and so he'll literally burn most of
damn.
his hair off trying to eat the flames. So I kind of have to be out there telling him not to and making sure he's okay. And so I cut a piece, and then I went out, burned more scraps, and hung out with him for a little bit, and then came in and was like, okay, I got my measurements. I'm just going to cut this real quick, and we'll get back to it. Cut it, put it up to the drawers, and I was like, swear word. Multiple swear words.
I
Like,
cut
was
it,
just,
I cut
like,
it twice
so
and it's
bad,
still
dude.
too short.
Yeah, it's just like, and I think the worst part about it was just that it was kind of like a scrap piece of plywood. So now if I want to complete these drawers, I have to order more plywood, and that's really the thing that frustrates me most.
Yeah.
Is that
as I was watching the stories, right, and the next one that comes in, it's that, and I was like, what the heck did you do now? What did you mess up?
dude,
Door front. I was like, oh man, yeah, pretty bad.
yeah, it's always something with me. Always messing something up.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not alone. You're not alone.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Well, at least you could get that off the table. We have some hosts here that just one host in particular that sometimes you just can't get it off the table
Yeah.
because it's stuck to it,
Or can't work on the table.
Yeah. He's already called me out. He's the one that called me out and got me motivated. Trevor's the one that called me out on that CNC and got me motivated to move it.
As I call it, his box collector.
Yeah.
And I moved it to its so-called final resting place, and I never took anything off of it. And then I moved it again, and it still has everything on it.
It's the most expensive workbench.
Yes.
It's not even a workbench.
The most expensive storage table thing.
Well, somebody's got to do it.
Display case.
I saw talking about using your CNC as a storage space. I forget who I was listening to, but they were talking about how when they originally got their CNC, they did it wall mounted, and it was wonderful because it was always clean.
Yeah, I guess you couldn't mess it up, huh?
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, this is I'm going to move it and put it on a table because so it'll be easier to secure my work pieces to it because you're dealing with gravity in a different direction when it's on the wall." And he's like, "Yeah, that was the biggest mistake I ever made because every time I have to use it, I have to clean it off because it's just it becomes a flat surface." I'm like, oh, yeah, it makes sense.
More than you think.
Not that I plan on ever wall mounting my CNC.
I like the idea of the wall mounted CNC, but like you said, you're working against gravity at that point, and it seemed in concept, it seems genius, but things change.
If they go the wrong enough to figure out already, and then putting it on the wall, it's like now you got a whole nother thing you got to figure out with it.
Right.
Well, you also got to make sure your stepper motors can actually hold the position. So,
that's true.
How do you know that, Matt?
Because I mounted mine the exact opposite of what they recommended me do, and it would hold it as long as the power was on.
Just turn it off and just it slowly drop down.
Yeah,
like a tractor with a bad hydraulic.
They literally wrote me an email, and it was all in like bold letters. We strongly recommend you do not do this.
Yeah.
Why are you yelling at me?
Yeah.
After I yelled at him to ask him why, and why would you do that? He built this nice table. He's got plenty of room, but he had to just do it just to say that he did it.
I wanted to
and
try
he cut that table in pieces to make it work. And then it's like he had to go build a brand new table again just to put it back on there because it didn't work.
Sometimes you like doing things more than once. I'm just saying,
maybe
sometimes you're a one-time guy, but I like to do it more than once. So
there's we're learning a lot about you, Matt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's get on to this subject that we were talking about, and the reason we brought the man, the myth, the legend on here. Let's talk about some Etsy sales or just online sales in general.
How do you do it? I'd like to know how the heck you grab them. What, is there some secrets in there? Is that where you get most of your sales from? Just take the whole hour up. Just do it.
Oh, great. I love talking for long periods of time with nothing else going on. So, yes, I sell on Etsy, and it's fun. But I'm sure people have also heard the horror stories of selling on Etsy and things like that. Yeah. It is where most of my income comes from and where most of my sales come from. I don't really do any other sales anywhere else. Every once in a while when I'm desperate or I just have a ton of crap, I'll throw it up on Facebook Marketplace and just be like, somebody give me like $1 for this because I just need it out of here. But that's like as far as it goes for other sales. But Etsy, so I started selling on Etsy, I have no idea, we'll say 6 years ago. And it was like all of my turned projects. I was like, I'm going to be a bowl turner and I'm going to turn all these insane things and people are just going to blow my Etsy up buying these crazy cool segmented pieces. I had like 4 people who were friends on Instagram buy my stuff, the friends that support which was awesome.
Mhm.
But then, you know, it all just kind of died after that. And I was like, well, this sucks. This is dumb. I don't want to do this anymore. But I started making my jigs and things. And I started talking to a couple people just about selling them because I was really unsure about selling them. I was like, why would people buy this? They can make it themselves, right? Like most, because I have the maker's mentality where I'm like, babe, you want that coffee table? I can make that. I can make that, you know, or you see somebody make something on YouTube that would help you and you're like, I can make that. And so my mentality was just that of just, why would people buy this stupid little jig from me if they can make it themselves? But luckily I had friends who believed in me or believed in the product and were like, just list it. Someone will want it, you know? And so I was like, okay. And I listed it and it started selling. You know, it was like one a month maybe. And then it was, you know, 5 a month. And now I'm probably up to about 20 per month plus wedgie sleds and other things. And it's just kind of crazy because I think that's a story that goes along with a lot of people who are selling on Etsy is they post things that, you know, they're just little things and you're like, nobody's going to buy this. But then all of a sudden people are buying it. You know, you hear these things about a bunch of 3D printers and people who are printing parts. Like I know you do, Joey, and you know, it's just a ton of things that you find useful in your shop. And so you print it for yourself or you make it for yourself and then you post it and other people like me, I'm pretty lazy when it comes to jigs and other things like that. So I'd rather find it and have someone else make it for me and then just send it to me, you know, which I do a lot of. It's same with like plans. You know, you find a lot of plans online because it's like, I could design this, but it's going to take me like 3 hours to design this thing. Someone is here selling it for $5. I'll just pick it up for $5. And I think that people need to be more courageous when it comes to selling online and just post the stuff. Just post it. It's not that big of a deal.
Are you taking like a great deal of time to do a description or a title? What's grabbing traction to be able to get things to your page?
No, my descriptions are probably like so bad. I know people read them and are like, why is he talking about Legos? This is a woodworking thing, you know, or you know, I really don't spend any time on my descriptions. It's hard though because the people on Etsy, they don't read the descriptions. That's like a number one thing.
Yes.
They freaking don't, and it's so annoying because they'll message you and be like, "Hey, how does this thing work?" And you're like,
"It's in the description.
Line 3 in the description, bro. It's right there." But it's like, okay, let me message you back and get this done. But no, I don't pay any certain attention to my listings in the way of like titles and descriptions. I don't think that matters all that much. The thing that I think that really helps my stuff sell is Instagram and YouTube. So my YouTube is focused on wood turning, and all of my Etsy things are linked in every description. It's like, go check out my Etsy. If you like the way I turn this, go check out my Etsy. Here's the jigs that I used, you know. And so I'm kind of like self-promoting that way.
Yeah.
And I think that really helps.
It's cool. Do you run any type of like advertisement, or do you just stay away from that? Do you subscribe to Etsy Plus, or you just have it straight up? Don't pay Etsy anything other than what they charge you.
No, I pay Etsy so much money.
Oh, we all do.
they take so much of my money, but I think it's totally worth it. I do run Etsy ads, and like right now, after the holiday season, I lower it so you can pay like, you know, $5 a day or $10 a day. Right. During like the slow months, like right now, I lower it because I'm like, nobody's even really wanting to buy, and I'm not willing to pay the extra ad fees to just get it out to people. Because if people want to buy it, they're going to actually come to my page and buy it. That's what's going to happen right now. Yeah. But during the holiday season, I will up my ads so that way it's just getting out to everybody, and people who know wood turners and are looking for gifts for wood turners are like, oh, this is something maybe someone would like, and they buy it instead of just wood turners looking for the things that they want.
Okay.
So what's your biggest seller? What's the most thing, the one item that you sell the most?
It's kind of weird. Well, first off, I guess my biggest seller would be my wedgie sled, the sled that people can buy to start segmenting. But as of like the last few months, I make these Mandalorian catch-all trays, and those have just been popping off. I sell like 2 a week probably. It's kind of weird because, again, it was something that I was like, this is super cool. If you're like a Star Wars fan, maybe someone will buy this, and here it goes, it's just starting to sell. And I'm like, oh, I guess, I mean, I know there's a lot of nerds out there, me included, but dang, okay, let's go.
Have you thought about maybe like building a website and directing traffic to that to get away? Because we all know Etsy takes a lot of our money, and they do. They take a lot.
Yeah, they do
more than they should. And I think it's only, in my opinion, I think it's only going to get worse until one day you just can't justify doing it. But have you thought about, taking that angle?
No, just because so here's my thing with Etsy taking our money, right? I just did my taxes for last year, and all I had to do was log into my Etsy, go to the tax thing, and print it out, take it to my accountant. And he was like, cool, you barely made any money. Good job. Yeah. You're done. I didn't have to do anything. And that's probably the only reason I will actually not leave Etsy, is just because I'm lazy and I don't want to deal with that sort of stuff. So if they have to take my dollars so I don't have to deal with that, that's fine with me.
I like that answer.
I'll second that, because I had several makers reach out to me when I was, selling a ton of those the epoxy skulls, and like, man, do it on your own website, do this. I'm like, and I went in there and looked at it. I was like, okay, so I would have made 50% more if I would have had my own website. But then you have to maintain your own website. You have to deal with, there's more you have to deal with on the taxes.
You don't have the traffic. You don't have the traffic that you're going to get from Etsy.
Like, yep. And then, and I love the fact with Etsy that when it comes to shipping, it is all like, you have the shipping, the ease of the shipping stuff. It just, yes, you can make a little more money if you do it on your own website. Yeah. But that's a whole nother job you got to deal with.
Yeah. And everything is in-house. Yeah. You've got your advertising in-house, you've got your shipping in-house, you've got your taxes in-house, like everything is just there. And for a lazy guy like me, who I just want to make the stuff and sell it, and
100%,
if I get $300 instead of $500, that's fine. I'm $300 richer than I was, and I don't have to worry about anything other than just making the stuff.
Yeah, that falls under, it's the cost of doing business at the end of the day.
Yep. And, I know a lot of people out there who are like, but they're taking 20% of your stuff. How are we supposed to combat that? I'm like, well, if you do the math or whatever, I don't do the math, but if you figure out basic cost of materials and time and say it's $100 for this item, charge $200. See if that sells. If it sells, great. Figure it out and just make up for the loss.
Oh yeah.
There's a question.
So no,
there.
I never made my own website.
Yeah, I tried and then I stopped, and then I tried again, and then I stopped again. And that was the last time. I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna pay somebody, because I'm like you. I'll just pay somebody to make it, and then I'll deal with it.
I love the idea of it. I would love to be like, yeah, check out my website, madiradesign.com. Because it's like, whatever it is, it's cool, but it's kind of more of like I feel like that's what's the word? It's just kind of keeping up with the Joneses kind of a thing, where it's just like, if you don't have your own website, are you a real business? Where it's like, yeah. I
Well,
make
and
money.
if you're not generating the sales off of it, you're going to have to funnel them that way. And,
Mhm.
getting it to get seen on Google or whatever, it costs some money. You got to make sure everything's done correctly just so it gets out there, or you can try to drive it from your Etsy store, which I've heard some people try to do to, because if you could save that money, that's going to help out a lot, but you still have the costs to run that website,
Yeah.
and that's, anywhere from 30 to $100 a month, depending on what you want on there.
And from someone who's made their own website, did all that, because I was told early on that, yeah, you're not a real business if you don't have a website.
Yeah.
I spent over a week every night after work working on a website, and it cost me, because I have to pay for the domain every year.
Mhm.
So that's $100 every year for the domain. What? Yeah. It cost me $100. Well, it's because I own 5 different domains for one website, because I have different short domains and different stuff. So it's like $100 a year for the domains, plus the monthly. I have my Google email, my Gmail stuff that I use because I have my own domain through that. And at the end of the year, I'm spending $400 or $500 a year to maintain a website that I haven't updated in 2 years.
Yeah.
And yes, it's nice because I have some sponsors and I've had some people reach out to me through the website.
Mm-hmm.
But is it $400 or $500 worth nice? Honestly, if I would have caught the auto renewal this year, I wouldn't have renewed anything. And that's the biggest problem. Everything's on auto. So yeah, I just happened to look at my bank account. And I'm like, dang it hit. I was going to cancel all that and just let the domain go dormant.
Yep.
Because it's like, yeah, the email's nice, but I could let the domain go dormant and still keep my email address.
Yeah.
But it's not worth it.
We had a question out there in the chat from JP, our buddy over there across the pond. Trevor, ever pop that bit of wood back on the lathe that we spoke about, or did he leave it? Do you know what he's talking about? Yes.
No, I don't.
Okay.
The answer to that question would be no.
Let's just assume I left it, JP. Let's just assume I left it.
That was a long time ago. I don't
know.
So let's talk about this wedgie sled, because it's pretty interesting. And
wedgie sled.
Wedgie sled.
And I've heard all the wedgie jokes.
I literally, I gave them out as a kid, but I don't remember selling them.
How do you spell it? Tell me how to spell it real quick.
WEDGIE. I was trying to see if someone else could tell me how to spell it. Frick, dude, I totally forgot.
Oh no, you're on your own. You're on your own, bud.
I'm like, actually, how do you spell it?
He
and
said,
then sled is S.
I got. We're good. I got it.
Oh, okay, good.
We got sled.
He said, JP said from the video you gave up on. Laugh out loud. Remember now?
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Oh,
12 videos I gave up on.
Oh man. But you know what? I really don't want to talk about it right now. It's just super crazy. Let's just move on.
Super crazy.
But I totally remember it.
Oh, you remember from the guy with the thing?
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I gave up on it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
over.
I got you now. Poor JP.
Wedgie sled. So I came up with the wedgie sled. Well, I didn't come up with it. First off, I accept no accreditation towards that sled. It has been around probably since before I was born, which is not that long ago. So it's been around. I made one and I was like, this thing's pretty cool, so I showed it off on YouTube and people were like, where'd you get that? How'd you make it? Where are the plans? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I just make it. Like, it's just a board with 2 T-tracks in it and 2 fences on it. It's not hard to make. Going back to I don't know why people would even buy this from me
because there's
super
other
simple.
Trevors in the world. They're lazy and they don't
It's
want to
true.
make it. You know,
So
Yeah,
that's
hook that
actually
wedgie.
the reason I wanted to make it and wanted to sell it, was because I looked in a mirror at myself and was like, if this was around when I got into segmented wood turning, I would have bought it. I don't know why people didn't sell it before me, because people do sell them, but they're different and a little more complicated, and there's other things to it.
Well, they were waiting on you, Trevor.
Yeah, and they were just like, there's going to be some weird looking guy out there who's going to make this thing and have it crazy overpriced, and I'm going to buy it.
yeah.
I'm looking at the listing for it right now. That's why I asked you how you spell it for your listing. And I don't wood turn. I've never owned a lathe. I think the closest I've ever come to using a lathe is I set my phone on one at a guy's shop one time.
Solid.
But
hey, you're half a turner now.
Yeah,
there you go. I mean, just the concept of it. I mean, it's elegant. It's simple. Like, yeah, and I get where you're saying, yeah, you could in an afternoon you could knock this out easy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at the full kit that you've got here. I mean, that's a heck of a price to have it delivered, and someone that just and if you have those wood turners, that's all they do is wood turn.
Yeah.
They don't want to mess with anything else. That's a perfect tool for those customers.
Yeah,
and that would be
a good thought.
Yeah, because I look at that, it's like, how could I spend the time to make this tool? Yes, I could. Could I order it and have it here in a couple days or a couple weeks? Yeah, and it's dialed in. I'm probably going to screw it up the first time I make it, so I'm going to have to make 2 or 3 of them.
Sure.
In a lot of cases, it's simple, it's elegant, it works, and that full kit that comes with the wedgies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah.
How big of
And I
a
know
bowl? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you're good. I was done.
How big of a bowl can you make with that? Like with your wedgie sled, what's the biggest diameter bowl that you can produce off of that?
As big as you want, really, because you have your sled, and then you have your table saw blade, and then you have a distance gauge on this side, and so it's basically as long as you want to cut your segments, you could make as big as you want. I mean, I made a 13-inch bowl one time, and so my segments were like 2 inches, 3 inches long. That's pretty big. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's no, I don't know. That's the answer. I don't know, because you can really make it as big as you want. As big as you're willing to.
So then I'll ask on that, because the wedgies are based on the number of segments that you're cutting.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you're just coming up with the measurements, so you could have 20 segments that are a foot long, realistically, right?
Yep.
Okay. So all that's doing is telling you, okay, yes, here's the angle that it needs to be set at for a 20 segment, a 12 segment, whatever. So
yeah,
so I guess
actually
go ahead. Oh, sorry.
On my Etsy, I sell a chart as well that tells you the number of segments. So if you want 12 segments, it tells you the distance from the blade that you should set. So say it's like 1.25 inches, and then it will tell you how big of a circle you'll get based off of that measurement. So it's 12,
okay,
set at 1 inch, and you'll get a 6-inch ring or whatever it is. And that's also a pretty decent seller. And I sell that through a third party. So they print it and they ship it for me, which is really nice. But people love that chart as well, because that is a question I get a lot, where they're like, how do I know? What if I want like an 8-inch bowl and I don't know how to look things up on the internet? I'm like, well, just buy this chart. I spent hours making this chart for you. So just buy this.
So in that case, it comes down to the capacity of your lathe, or if you have the ability because I know I've seen, and again, I know nothing about wood turning or lathes. I've seen them where you're not over the main body, you're on the opposite side of the back side of the motor, essentially, I guess.
Yes.
So if you wanted to turn a 4-foot bowl,
Yeah, as long as your lathe is 4 feet off the ground, you could do
you're
that.
able
2 feet off the ground.
Whoa.
It's called
2 feet off,
outboard
yeah.
turning. as
outboard.
well.
Okay. I want a lathe. I do. That's one of my next tools. I just don't have the room for it, and I can't justify it.
Not with
Get
that
a mini
attitude.
lathe.
I'm a little.
I'll sell you
scared.
one. I'll sell you one, BJ.
You have to deliver it.
No.
Never mind.
Shipping prices on cast iron shipping a cast iron lathe would be super cheap, I'm sure.
You know, speaking of lathes, I didn't realize that I don't even know why I'm going to say this. God, why did I even start?
Do it.
I didn't know that Rikon lathe, that big lathe, has an auto extended bed where you could just turn a knob and it extends. Have y'all seen that?
No, so I didn't know that either.
You need to get more. I guess you could say
30,
more
40.
clearance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's the 30,
you
40.
just turn a deal. What's his name that we had on the podcast displayed that? What's the guy's name? Matt, do you remember him?
Dreadnought. Yes.
Yeah, I was checking his video out, and he turned a knob, and that bed started sliding.
Yep,
that's insane.
I was like, "Whoa, that's cool."
Joey is Team Rikon all the way. He's all about it. His next thing is he wants to go to Iceland pretty soon.
All right, moving on. Speaking of Iceland, we have some questions for Trevor.
Go ahead and read them, Mustache.
Trevor, how many routers have you gone through since you started your CNC journey? Is the first one.
So 3. That's like the simple answers. 3 DeWalt palm routers.
All right, and the second question is, what is your most hated tool for woodworking? Jointer, planer, bandsaw, etc.
I'm gonna say, hi Jason, first off, but I'm going to say the jointer I have had the most frustrating time with in my time of woodworking, which has been almost 8 years. I bought 3 joiners. Tried, gave up on, sold. Bought, tried, gave up on, sold, and was just like, what's the point of this tool? It doesn't work for me. And I just know it's me. I'm not educated, or I need someone there like doing the freaking holding my hands behind my back thing to show me how it's done.
Doing the ghost thing.
Yeah,
doing the ghost thing.
Come in and ghost me with our shirts off to show me how this is done.
I'm telling you, we get some music going on in the background.
But I have had like the roughest time with joiners, and I don't my brain.
Why? What's it doing? I'm surprised Miller didn't come and help you do it. I think he would be all in on that.
Yeah. He would think so, but he hates me. I'm just kidding. He doesn't hate me. He loves me. But yeah, so the joiner, it's just the joiner. I'll probably buy another one next year or something and be like, I can do this. And then end up selling it for way cheaper than I bought it just to get the frick out of my shop. But the last one I had a helical head. It was beautiful.
And you did all the things.
Plus they take up room, and I just don't have. I am so out of room in my shop. It's ridiculous.
Oh, me too.
As long as you don't do like me when you buy your first joiner, you buy a used one and you don't check the beds, and then you get them home and you find out that it's root on either end. After you've tried to figure out why it's not cutting flat, and it's like you throw a straight edge on it and go, I didn't know cast iron could sag. Okay. I guess after 70 years it can sag.
Cool. Learn something new every day.
That was a special joiner for arched entryways. Exactly. You didn't know that?
Yeah. Hey, and it was a Powermatic, so you never know. They might have done that. Yeah. So I'll ask another question, and because I guess we're pretty much wrapped up on the Etsy stuff because you answered all the questions on that.
I'm just an Etsy master, so
you're an Etsy master. Yeah. Hey, you know what? So someone that's wanting to get into wood turning, do you recommend the high-speed steel tools or carbide to start out?
like not my preference, but what I recommend finding somebody in your area that does wood turning and do whatever they say. Because if you can find a teacher and they use HSS tools, high speed tools, you're going to gravitate towards that and you're going to learn a lot easier. But if they use carbide tools, use carbide tools. Basically, the easiest way to get into wood turning and to learn wood turning is to physically have somebody ghost you and teach you how to do it. I learned how to do it through YouTube and through changing my shorts multiple times, practicing, and it took me a lot longer. And I used carbide, which was great, and I still use carbide to this day. But I think if I would have learned on HSS tools, I would use HSS tools. And I don't think that there's a right or a wrong between either of those. And I think a lot of people think there's a big debate about it, but I don't think there is. I think you either use one or you use the other, and you just turn.
Yeah, because like correct me if I'm misspeaking, but you can't sharpen carbide where you can sharpen the others, right?
Correct.
Well, you can sharpen carbide. They have sharpeners for carbide, but you can't sharpen them to a specific angle is the difference. So carbide is kind of like you have a flat piece and you'll just sharpen the carbide on the flat piece to kind of bring it back to sharp. But usually you just rotate it or throw it away and get a new one. With HSS, which is nice, you can sharpen it to a specific angle to really focus in your cuts and get the quality cut that you want.
When I get started out with wood turning, my daughter actually bought me a class.
Oh, and, sweet!
We went to Woodcraft together and spent all day, and then went through the sharpening, went through everything inside of it, and then we turned a bowl, and then you turn a pine bowl first, and then they give you the maple, and you start turning maple and stuff, and they teach you with traditionals. And then they also will go through carbides with you as well if you would like. And we did a little bit of carbide with them. And I to this day still turn with both always. Yeah. To me, they both got their place. But if you're like you said, with a new turner, carbides work really well. But if you can take a class, I would recommend taking a class. And I think it was like $80 for the whole day.
Oh, so nice. That's well worth it.
Yeah. And they take you back in the back room and literally I've done different things there where I've bought tools and I was like, hey man, I don't know how to use this. And it was a card scraper.
Yeah.
They'll take you back in the back, show you how to sharpen it, the whole thing, and then teach you how to pull with it and everything. So, I mean, if you can take that time, and I live nowhere near the Woodcraft, but if you can take that time, I would recommend taking the time and doing the class. It taught me a lot, and taught me a lot of things that I needed to make sure that I did before I did the next step. So,
yeah.
Well, we've got another question in the chat. So where can anybody find a good video on creating bowl blanks? Is that something that you've got?
I have a video on creating bowl blanks, but I'm not going to say it's good. I just took a chainsaw to a log and was like, look, now you can throw this on your lathe. There's more than enough good bowl blank videos out there. Look up how to turn a wood bowl on YouTube. It's an actual page. It's not just like you're going to get a bunch of things. It's an actual page, how to turn a wood bowl. Jason, I'll just send you the link. But he is a phenomenal YouTuber and wood turner. He's a traditional wood turner, and he goes through all sorts of wood turning things from, picking your lumber, how to cut it, what's the best way to cut it, what you're going for, and what all the tools are for and everything. He's phenomenal. So how to turn a wood bowl, highly recommend.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go a little more on that because I've heard different versions from different people. When you're cutting a bowl blank out of a tree trunk, I've heard people say you just go across it and cut you a blank, and you can turn it that way. But that can blow up on you when you turn it, right? Because you're essentially turning. You understand what I mean? Your tree trunks horizontal, and you're just cutting pieces.
Oh yeah,
straight.
yeah.
Cutting
Okay.
cookies, essentially. Yeah.
Cutting
Yeah,
cookies,
gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
And then they said the proper way is to basically split that trunk in half on the pith, and then you cut your chunks out, and then where your flat spot is, that's what you're going to put on your chuck, and you're going to be essentially turning into side grain, right? I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Is that which way do y'all do it, Matt?
I do it that way,
Okay.
the right way.
Split way.
Yeah, I take my tree trunk, cut it in half. Whoa, I'm mirrored. Hold on.
Yeah.
Cut it in half, and then this essentially is your bowl, because then you can take your flat piece like this and mount your flat piece to your lathe, and then you have a bowl shape essentially.
Okay, so that flat part would be the opening of the top of the bowl, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So you would turn the outside first, and then flip it around, and then hollow out the inside.
Got it.
And there you have your bowl.
And what I do is you have a log, and you take your log, and you can see the spiral. You can see all your rings in the center of it, and you see what the pith is. The pith is that center section of it. It's a different kind of color, and it's the newest growth. And what you want to do is you want to take that piece, or not the newest growth, excuse me. Your newest growth is your sapwood. You want to take that piece of it, and I cut that whole section out of it. And I use that. I'll use that for cutting up something else. I'll use it for quarter wood or something like that. And then you take your two outside pieces, and now you have two bowls off that one log.
Or you take your pith, and you have this much of your pith left. You cut this section off it as well. Then you have pen blanks, or something, handles or whatever.
Correct.
You can use the whole tree basically, except for that little pith.
So what's going to happen is you keep the pith in your bowl, because you're going to rough turn it once you get it down and let it dry out. When you dry it out, if you have the pith in there, that's going to be the most movement that you're going to have, and it's going to warp your board more.
Yeah, it'll warp it really bad, and you're like way on track for it cracking and just not being usable.
So if you leave the pith in, it's almost like keeping the seed from an avocado for guac. Like it'll keep it from browning.
I don't eat that weird food.
No. I don't eat anything that's green.
So have you ever turning it like that? I remember back when I was in high school, a campground that my grandparents would go to. There was an old school wood turner there that he traveled the country making bowls and selling them at campgrounds. But he always left the top of the bowl. It was always irregular, and it always had the bark. Have you ever done any bowl turnings that you've kept the bark on?
I've never done any. They're just called live edge bowls. I've never done any live edge bowls. It would be super fun, but honestly, like I don't green turn all that often. I rarely do it.
It's fun. That's fun.
It's super fun, I know, but I'm so impatient. I can't wait the year for the bowl to dry so I can turn it again. I have blanks in my shop that I'm waiting on, and I'm pretty sure I just flip them off every time I walk past them because I'm just like, will you be dry already? Can we just move on? Oh my gosh,
because like that's going to have a tendency to like crack over time once it cures too, right?
Yeah.
I know this guy used a ton of super glue when he was turning these, because you're having to, as you turn a little bit, throw a little super glue in there on that bark, because just a log laying there, the bark, as it dries, the bark's going to separate.
Yes.
And some absolutely gorgeous bowls, but that live edge look, no two bowls were ever the same.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool. And even, taking the bark off, like, whatever, I'd rather just have the look of the live edge, because I think the one my grandparents bought 10 years down the road, the bark was gone.
Sure.
Yeah, and the bowl had split pretty seriously.
Yeah, and you don't have to wait for the bowl to dry or cure. You could just turn it, but you just have to have the expectation that it's not going to come out perfectly round, right? So if
after it dries, if
you're going to sell it, that's like your selling point. I know a lot of wood turners, that is their selling point, where they just turn it and then they sell it, and then you have this funky looking sort of bowl thing, which
A year from now.
not for me. I'm not a fan
Yeah.
of that. I like nice round bowls, but some people are.
They
They
were having a competition in woodcraft. I think they do it. I don't know, every quarter or whatever. But I was in there this weekend, and it seems like that's what they did with that bowl. And then where it cracked, they put turquoise in there like an inlay, and all the cracks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my God, that thing was absolutely gorgeous. But that bowl, it looked, they must have turned it green, because after that, I mean, that thing had some funky shrinkage in it, but man, it looked freaking amazing how that came out, you know.
Like, how do you do you put that like flat on its side, and then you like return that to like I'm just I don't understand how you can get the epoxy to like sit in that crack.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Oh,
No, you just leave it on the lathe. So, like, if this is your bowl and you have a crack running through it, like whatever, you just turn it so the crack is on top, and then you just they don't use epoxy either. They use super glue. So they'll put the turquoise in with super glue. And so,
okay.
like, they'll star bond the crap out of that thing, and then
I gotcha.
they can continue turning it.
Okay.
yeah,
Jim
'cause
Sprague.
yeah,
Jim Sprague used to do that a lot. He had a lot.
the stuff that I'm talking about is like granular. So you kind of
They're like the little turquoise
Sprinkle it in.
rocks, right?
you lay it in there, and then you just star bond the heck out of it.
Yeah, I have some of those. Oh gosh, it's like the teal. It's not pigment, but it's
like the little teal rocks. Like they're just tiny
little turquoise or teal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the question: why use Starbond or use CA glue when you've got like UV resins? Because wouldn't the UV resin be stronger in the long run over Starbond or over a CA glue?
Well, if you're set up,
I'm not going to answer that because you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. I just and I know it's an ease of use, and it's there because you can drip the CA glue, spray it, and you're good. And UV resin sets up a little bit slower, but I was thinking just with the the increase in technology on epoxies being able to use UV, I would lean more towards that just because that's what I'm a little more comfortable with.
I agree with you. I also think that like a lot of wood turners are still very traditional, and it's been traditional to use super glue, and so they're just like, you got to use super glue, and it's like, well, why don't you try something different? So I agree with you though. I think epoxy would be cool.
And they do sell inlay kits for turning that you can also get like from the big major wood turning online places, because I bought some before, and it was a granular turquoise stuff, because I did a mesquite cross a long time ago, and all the different holes, the wormholes and stuff, that's what I filled up with the turquoise, and it absolutely beautiful in grain, had the live edge on the cross, but you can get that inlay, and that I was going to try it on a turning, and I never did, but I mean, there's all sorts of stuff out there, and that was way back before epoxy was even a thing,
Sure.
And so that's kind of, and it was the same concept. It was like, I think it was like a 2-part mix that you had part A, part B. You lay the turquoise granulars in the wherever you wanted, and then you mix that 2-part deal and just pour it over it, and then you just let it sit, set up, take a whole day. Next day you come back, and then you can return it to get it smoothed out.
If you ever have a crack in the bottom of your bowl, just take it off your chuck. Don't leave your chuck on. Just a thought.
Now is that
not that it's ever happened to anybody.
Yeah,
I was wondering, is that a life
speaking
lesson?
from experience or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost a chuck that way.
See previous episode.
Actually, that's the base that the customer got for the bowl. Is a chuck. It's
a display.
It looks good on the table.
That's how you display it.
Because it couldn't come off of it.
Chunk of metal. This is how you display it. It looks good.
We got a host that likes to stick chucks to bowls, and a host that likes to take sign to tables.
I'm telling you.
I don't know.
I just see glue my hands to crap. So you know.
Hey, that's why we bought the debonder.
Oh yes, yes. That debonder, I have used that debonder a few times and I've been like, thank you, thank you.
Wait, there's a debonder?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've never had
Yeah.
that problem.
Good
Mhm.
to know. Mine's
Oh.
usually just a razor blade. Just
Dude, I have
Wait a
I
minute.
have-
Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. Time
Time
out.
out. Here we
I
go.
have a story.
Mustache. You
Flag on the play.
glued your hand to something? How come we've never heard of this?
Why would
No.
he tell you?
No, not my hand. No, not my hand.
Oh,
Oh,
wait,
Yeah.
this isn't some like
That sounds
American
super
Pie story here.
embarrassing.
please, we won't tell
So-
nobody.
Okay, this will probably become a reel. Who knows?
Okay.
So
Burn
I
it.
had just started using Sarbon, and I was doing a wedding. You know where the
Bride and groom
couple
get married.
stands and gets married
Yeah.
under whatever that structure is over
The
them.
altar.
No, it's not an altar. It's not a trellis.
It's like an
It's-
entryway,
Yeah, whatever. It
Art
was super
ceiling.
basic. Regardless. So I had to make like
Pergola.
mortise and tenons and everything, and
Pergola.
I had something that like I punched through and it blew out. So I had to like take the piece and I put it back in and I put Starbond in there, and it wasn't sitting in there completely. So I slammed it with a hammer, and that Starbond shot out of the hole and went right into my freaking eye.
Oh,
And
damn.
my eye instantly closed. Like I went to blink and my eye closed. And I was like, "Oh my god, that just went in my eye!" And
Realize
I,
we're not
like,
laughing at you, Matt. We're laughing with you.
I
laughing
instantly
at him.
opened my eyelid to like try to pull it apart and stuff because the debonder wasn't anything at that point. And I came back in the house and my wife's like, "You got a bunch of like black stuff on your face." I was like, "I know."
Can't
I
see it,
wanna
but I
talk about
know.
it.
That is super glue. I almost glued my eye together.
It's awesome.
I mean, that's right up there with using the activator as you're leaning over the piece you're working on, and all those fumes hit you in the face. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I get my
Just
weekend
smelling
started.
stuff.
I didn't inhale.
Clear your sinuses.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was I was hoping you were going to say that your finger was stuck to your eyelid.
Oh.
He's just walking around
So
like
I
this.
was worried about that also.
What you do?
I guess this is what we're doing now.
It's the new style. Nobody's cool unless they stick their finger to their eye.
Are you saluting me? No, just glued my finger to my eye.
So, Trevor, how you liking that new Onefinity CNC there? Seems like you're having a good time with it.
Dude, I freaking love that thing so much. I had an X-Carve before, and I never quite got the joke someone said about it, I think, which was basically like, I don't want my CNC made out of toothpicks and super glue, until I bought a Onefinity, and I was like, oh, this is what like a real machine is like. This is amazing. This is insane. And yeah, it's so nice. It's such an upgrade. It's such, and I just, you constantly see me, I know, on my stories being like, I love this machine. This thing is the best, blah, blah, blah. And Stone reached out to me and was like, okay, we get it. You like it. That's great. Here, we'll send you a banner. Keep it up. And I'm like, I'm not doing it to like try to get anything from you guys. I genuinely just freaking love this thing compared to where I was. And it's faster and stronger and better. And it's awesome.
Night and day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I came from the Shapeoko to that, and I'm with you. It is such a beautiful machine.
Yeah. You just don't have to, like, the only thing now I have to worry about is my bits getting dull. And before it was like I had to constantly worry about like tightening my belts and figuring out all my other crap, and is it going to cut accurately this time, or what do I need to adjust? Where now I just need to be like, oh yeah, that bit's getting kind of dull, I should probably replace it, and then it cuts like a dream again, and it's freaking awesome.
I was gonna say it kind of takes that stress out of the whole thing. It's like, yeah, I got time to make that. That's no problem now. It's not like now you can schedule your stuff out a lot easier because that CNC, some of the stuff that was, not letting you do certain things with the other one. Now it's just like, boom, it's done. Your confidence level rises.
It just works.
Right.
Yeah. And I literally have gained back hours of my life and my work schedule because of that machine and the way that it works. I literally have no stress about where with my sleds and stuff. I used to be stressed because it was like, oh man, I got like 4 sleds I got to make this month. And now I'm like, I can pump out 10 in a day and they'll all be accurate and they'll all be like perfect.
Yep.
I'm not worried about it. That's all in a day's work now. It's super nice.
So was it worth the investment? Because I know
100%.
Okay. Because I know the last time you were on, you're like, man, I made a big investment and I hope it pays off. And just after that show, watching you get it, put it together and start working on it, it was like you could just see. It's like, wow, why did I wait so long? Why did I wait so long? Yeah, and we all go through that with certain things. Things that we just procrastinate on buying, and then you get it, and it's like it just makes stuff so super simple to do. It's like, wow, easy,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and if I was just like still just doing it for fun or as a hobby, and I wasn't up to my ears in orders and things like that, I probably wouldn't have upgraded. But it came to a point where I was like, this is gonna make or break me if I buy this or don't buy it, and I would rather take the risk for something to make my business better than lose my business in total. And yeah, it's just paid off. It's totally worth it if you're serious about getting into CNC work, or I guess if you just have the cash lying around. But if you're serious about getting into it and you want to make money or are already making money, do it. Invest in it, invest in yourself, invest in your business, because it will pay off.
Cool.
Don't quote me on that.
Oh no, we're quoting you. That's the title of the podcast.
Everyone's gonna be going to their freaking wives now. Yeah, but Trevor said he said it.
Hey, I'm on my second one. I got the first one, and then everyone was like, "Hey, the Elite's coming out," and I started figuring up. I got this much to invest to get the next one. If I sell mine for this much, because I didn't want to rebuild it. I did not want to rebuild it to the Elite. And so I just went ahead and upgraded and got the Elite
Nice.
Foreman instead of the Journeyman, just so I could have a 4x4.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. And of course I did all my add-ons to it. So I, raised it up so I can get a full 6.5-inch draw out of it for my X-axis. And, I went with the water-cooled spindle. So if I want to do aluminum, I can do aluminum and stuff. So I'm really excited about it.
Do you guys have the laser at all? Have any of you tried the laser?
I have not. I don't know if BJ did.
No, I never did, just because I already had standalone, and I've got a CO2 laser.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I never. I know a guy that has one, and he absolutely loves it. You're not going to be competing with the CO2,
sure,
at the end of the day, but for engraving, it is absolutely phenomenal.
You're
not taking up any more room.
Jeff from Maker's Ways.
I don't.
Yeah, he just put one on his Onefinity.
Okay, I'll have to look him up.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll actually get it, but I'm very curious about it. If I'm going to get anything from Onefinity, it's going to be their rotary next, because that thing's freaking sick.
Ooh, yeah.
As a turner, I have to have it. So.
Yep.
You see anytime, what about a spindle? You didn't get a spindle with yours, right? Or did you?
No, I didn't get a spindle. I considered it, but as of right now, for the work that I'm doing, I couldn't see a benefit in a spindle.
Yeah.
you know, especially because I already knew I was upgrading from my last CNC. I was like, well, no need to like upgrade to the upgrade. I don't need it really. I'm not going to be cutting anything too crazy. So,
Well, can you get a 80 millimeter mount for the Onefinity? Like if you wanted to run a regular router that's 80 millimeter.
Yes.
So if you ever wanted to do that, you could put one of those DeWalt's, one of those high horsepower DeWalt's.
Well, I run the Makita on there, and that is no problem. That does everything I need.
I mean, I'm just saying you get up to that 2.5, 3 horsepower on it a, you know, I just like for my Avid, I bought the attachment on there. Like if I ever get it cleaned off and I actually use it, you know, if that spindle goes bad, I got an attachment that I can mount a DeWalt router on it and keep going.
I think those spindles go bad if you just never use them. So you might want to.
Yeah, check up on that. Joey's is gonna be bad. He's gonna be really bad.
You know, that's all right. I'll just buy the 8 horsepower spindle and put it on there and just leave the box attached to it. So just put it on there and tape it on there.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Colored pencils and stuff. Make it look good.
Yeah, just buy a new one so you can let it rot and watch it. Yeah,
sure. And maybe Joey, maybe you can save some money and just tell them to send you just the box.
Or just tell them to send you one that somebody already sent in that's broken. Be like, can you guys just send me one that doesn't work? Because it's not going to work.
It's not going to get used. I'm just going to put it on there. I just want to. I just
want people to think I use it.
Eye candy.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Who needs friends?
We love you.
We're true friends. We tell you how it is.
It's all right.
No sugar.
There's no lying in that. There's no lying in it. You know, I told him just before you came on, what I was going to do is get that new 20-inch planer and clear the CNC off and set the planer on top of there, still wrapped in plastic. And
I thought you were going to get the 20-inch planer so you could clear off your CNC and put everything on that. And not use.
Well, there's not enough room. That CNC has a bigger table, you know.
Well, then why not if you get the bed extension, you'd be fine. Both? Put all your junk on both of them and not use either.
Then what's he going to put on his other table saw?
More junk? I don't know.
I just cleared it off. I did actually use it. Give me a break. I made some box joints on it. That thing had ran in about 5 years. It really had not ran in 5 years, that Powermatic. I didn't even know if it was going to turn on. And it did. Made some beautiful box joints.
Look, I don't really like get jealous or like angry at people, but I run a 1-car garage shop. Like I could probably barely pull my truck in there if I wanted. And then, you know, there's other people out there who have 3-car garage shops. They were just talking about it on another woodshop podcast about, you know, how they have these bigger shops and how they never get in them, but they have, you know, everything in there. And I'm like, dude, why is it sometimes like the little guys like me who have the 1-car garage are in there all the time and we're running out of space? And then you have people like Pete over at Petrie's Workshop who gets in there for like 10 minutes a day. And his shop is way bigger than mine. It's not fair. I want a big shop.
Oh, I'm right there with you. with you, Trevor.
You keep sounding like you do, bud. You're gonna get that extension. You're gonna build on.
What I told people, we make fun a lot, and this is years and years. I don't do it full time, right? But you know, I've acquired the stuff over years, right? And I do buy stuff, right? And it just, I love to do it.
Right.
It's my hobby. And that's and I'm a tool freak. I love tools. Even though I leave them wrapped in plastic for a year, then I'll get to it eventually and I'll make a video, but it's just my hobby. I love tools.
Yep.
And I get ran on by people. They tell me some stuff, you know. I don't care.
No, you shouldn't. I mean, I'm not saying it to be like
No, I know you're not.
Whatever. It's just always every once in a while it gets to me that I'm in my shop all the time. I would just like a bigger shop.
You'll get there. I got you'll get there. At one point you will have that. You're a hard
I can't wait to have a huge shop and never work in it. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I've had the bigger shop and I didn't like it.
I'm not even talking like, like a 3-car garage. I'm talking like 6 more feet on each side. It's like, yeah. I just need some wiggle room here.
Knock a wall out. Come on. Just knock a wall out.
We'll watch
lean to.
Yeah,
you could do it. You could build it. You're a builder. You could do it.
I could, but again, I'm lazy and I'd rather pay somebody to do it, but I don't have the money to pay someone to do it right now. So I guess I'll just wallow in my own self.
So that's when you have to not be lazy and just bite the bullet and do it. It's just got to happen that way.
Yeah.
All right. We got a question.
If you build it, they will come.
When did the Friday videos start? People should watch. Thank you for the inspiration over the years. So
Jason, my number 1 supporter over there up in Kindania or what?
Iceland.
Yeah. Wherever he is, it's a lot of snow or whatever. I have no idea when the Friday videos started. I started them, it feels like forever ago.
Probably when you collabed with Lee, maybe?
No, I was doing them way before that. I was doing them before that.
Before that too.
Dude, but the cannon was awesome.
Dude, I love that video.
Good. Oh man. Yeah, they just kind of started. I used to just kind of drink a Monster and give a holler, and that was it on my stories. And then, I'd get comments from people, whatever, like, wow, you're amazing, you're a genius, how do you come up with this stuff? And I was like, well, maybe I'll do it as a reel, that would be funny. And I did it, and then more like, you're the Spielberg of your time, sort of a thing. Don't ever stop what you're doing. You're such an amazing artist. And I was like, well, I guess I'll keep going. And I did. I just kept going. And so to answer the question, I don't know.
Awesome.
It takes you a while, though, right? I mean, that's how many hours does it take to edit something like that? Because you do there's a lot of stuff in that.
Surprisingly, actually not long, because I've been editing forever, and I go out and I film it, and when I film it, I'm thinking about the edit, like, okay, and I'll just shoot it how I want to edit it, so then when I bring it into post, I can just throw it together, cut a couple of things, and get it out. So I always film my Friday videos that morning. So when you see that, like, in the video, I'm like, I don't want to be in the shop today. That's like legit. That's like me. I don't want to do this, but I'm here and I'm freaking doing it. So I do it all in the morning, and by the time it gets out, that's how long it takes me to do it. So a couple hours of filming and post, I guess, maybe.
So how's your YouTube doing? Is your YouTube tell me I don't watch your stuff without telling me I don't watch your stuff kind of deal,
Yeah.
I'm just joking. How's your
cool.
YouTube doing it?
It's doing good. It's doing a lot better. I have I think I actually just passed 4,500 subscribers, which is an accomplishment for me. I'm pretty stoked about that. The next milestone's 5K,
Congrats.
Which would be insane. Thank you.
I'll be looking for that giveaway when you do that.
I will do a giveaway when I get there. I would love to team up with a few of the shop sponsors to see if I can't get,
I'll send you my address.
Something. Yeah, and then we can just rig it so you can win.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
The one bottle of Tight Bond that I'm able to give away.
I mean, literally, it's you could say you're going to send it to me and just don't send it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure, that makes sense. YouTube's a grind though, man. It has literally started taking over my life because I try to do a video a week, but I give myself that leniency of like, it doesn't have to be a video a week. I don't want to kill myself to get a video a week out, but I'm trying. And
well, if it makes it easier on you, what you can do is you can make a video a week and just give like one of them to us, so that way we can put out a video that week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds.
No
finger guns. I'm not feeling those.
Yeah, put those holster those, Matt.
Yeah, put those bad boys away. Kids watching. But I spend like so much time editing. It's ridiculous. So usually I'll edit in the morning, and I'll edit till I go pick up my kids at 1
Mhm.
a.m. or p.m. 1 a.m. What kind of freaking school are they in?
Don't know.
Yeah.
What school you going to? We have your kids.
Yeah,
Shift work.
Keep
school,
'em.
what that is.
keep 'em.
What do you want for them?
Yeah, it's people. Again, I know people have this conversation, but people don't realize how much it takes to do YouTube.
Oh yeah.
It takes a lot. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. It's not hard in that way. I don't think you don't have to put out insane, amazing Mr. Beast videos, but just trying to get your point across and show people something and educate people if that's what you're into, and then editing it all together, that takes a lot. And that's like, to me, that's like bare minimum if you're trying to do that, which is what I'm doing, the bare minimum.
I gotta watch your process, because if a lazy guy can do it, I'm just below the lazy guy, so I need to strive to be there.
Yeah,
That's the thing. I've got a lot of
exactly.
stuff that I've filmed that is just sitting there,
Mhm.
and I
Same.
don't want. Well, one thing is because as you do it, you learn more editing things that you can incorporate, and some of those videos weren't shot correctly, right?
yeah.
It's like, how am I going to
So
fix this
annoying.
to work?
Yeah.
I can't do it, so they just kind of stay there, right?
Mhm.
And then if I wasn't so lazy, maybe I could take some of those things that I have, because I've got a lot of stuff that I want to shoot videos on. But then it's like, I got to charge the batteries. I got to get the camera. I got to get lights. I got to do all this stuff. I got to clean something to make room to be able to shoot.
Your worst enemy.
They move everything from this side of the room to this side of the room.
Yeah. And
That's
it's
why
like,
the CNC's always got stuff on it, right?
Exactly.
So did y'all see the Drew Witt video where he was at that guy's house,
Chop Nation's house.
one that-
I don't know his name.
Chop
Oh,
Nation's
yeah.
house? Yeah.
When he showed the mess.
Where he showed the true mess, and he's like, don't ever go meet your hero, because
Oh yes, I remember that.
and then
He'll let you down.
His Shop Nation's shop was like immaculate. It looked like he could probably eat off the floors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Drew's there, and he starts panning around, and he's like, dude, really? And he starts panning around, and it looks like a freaking tornado went through there.
Oh
There's
my
just
gosh.
stuff everywhere. And I'm like, yes, he's just like us.
At least
One
mine's got
of
a
us.
walkway through
One
that.
of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't believe this. What is this? Because it's just in shambles in there. But the
Yeah.
guy's building a new building out back.
Oh, yeah.
I get it.
I keep wanting to do a shop tour video, and I'm like, I got to clean the shop to do a shop tour video. I don't want to clean the shop, so I'm not doing a shop tour video.
So do you think
Good
nobody works in your shop? Is that you think the expectation
want it-
is?
Yeah.
That's
At
what you
least
have
need
to
to,
make
like-
it look like. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to make it look nice. Pick up the the 1,000 blue rags on the floor and the sandpaper that when I throw doesn't end up in the trash can. At least make it look like I'm not a total slob.
BJ, we're not all Dave Millers.
Dude.
5-gallon
I've
buckets,
been to
baby.
Dave Miller's shop, and it really is as clean as it looks.
Oh, I know.
really is.
I know.
It's very nice. But the reason that I always clean, two reasons I always clean my shop. The first one is so that when I come back in the next day,
You ain't dealing
it's
with
a clean
yesterday's
slate,
mess.
and I'm like, all right, I can work.
Yeah.
And the YouTube reason I clean my shop, and like the camera reason basically, is so that people can focus on the thing that I'm trying to show them. If you have
Not the
80
rags
blue
on
rags
fire,
sitting
yeah.
there on your
On
CNC, and you're trying to
on
run your
fire.
CNC, people are just going to be like, why the frick doesn't that guy throw all that crap away? And
that's
they're
gonna
gonna
be one of
focus
the
on your
comments.
stuff.
That's gonna be one of the comments in there.
I'm
It's
sure.
it's just like
I
your
even
good
pick
buddy,
up.
your good buddy Dave Miller. What does he do, Mr. Clean Freak?
Yeah.
I shot a video. I shot something one day, and he's like, "Dude, clean that up, please." It's like it was giving him freaking anxiety. I guess. I was like, "No, that was just for you, Dave. I left it just for you."
Oh,
But yeah, I think if you're gonna be doing YouTube or trying to show people things, even if it's just in your stories,
Oh yeah.
just clean the space a little bit so they can focus on what you're actually trying to show them.
Right.
Because it's just It's just better.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Even if it is just throwing it all to the other side of the shop, have the one area looking good.
Putting it on your CNC, you know, wherever. Just get it out.
Yeah, wherever.
But anyhow, it'll work. All right, guys. Y'all got anything else y'all'd like to ask the man here?
The man, the myth, the
Heck of a-
legend.
Heck of a podcast episode, guys.
No, good. I'm
Well,
tired.
No more questions
What?
in the chat.
Well, Trevor.
Apparently the Eagles are winning.
Yeah, looks like it. Looks like they're
Yeah.
gonna run away with it. Poor old Chiefs. I was hoping they'd pull it off just so they could do that three-peat, but I guess not. JR's getting his wish. He's happy.
Nothing here.
You see that one guy that bet $1 million on the Chiefs? Like
Yeah,
$1
to
million
win?
in cash. He brought
To
$1 million cash and set it out. Betted $1 million cash to win.
Ooh,
Chiefs
he's
to
gonna
win.
have a bad day.
Bad
He's gonna have a
day.
bad
If you
He
can
is
bet
now
$1 million,
divorced.
you can bet $1 million.
His wife left him.
You got a lot more.
Yeah.
Well, let's send it home, boys.
Yeah. Trevor, appreciate it, bud, for hanging out with us. Do you have anything special coming up that you want to announce to the listeners out there?
Keep on keeping on.
That's what I'm talking about. Brought it back.
And subscribe to my YouTube channel, please, so I can do a giveaway of one Type Bomb bottle.
And that way I
Nash
can
will
win it.
surprisingly win.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking
So
about.
subscribe for a giveaway that you're definitely not going to win.
That's
There
right.
you go.
I'm telling it, man. That's perfect. Perfect.
Do it.
That's right. Finger gun.
See, that's how you
Holy
do finger
holster
guns,
those.
Matt.
How would holster those?
You gotta get the loopy loops in there. Come on.
Nope.
What?
No,
No trick shooting?
no.
No.
All right,
Not
guys.
valid.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks
go
for having
watch
me on,
the rest
guys.
of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
anytime. You're welcome anytime. It's always a good time here.
Oh, anytime.
Yes.
All right.
But next week we have Mr. Steve Iderola. I hope I pronounced that. Known as Steve I. Go check him out. He'll be on next week with us. Same time, same place. Please head on over to patreon.com/Creative Makers Podcast and go have a look-see look. And if you feel it in you to support us, we surely appreciate. Thanks to our Patreon members that we have right now. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. I know it was kind of one of those days, those Sundays where you kind of torn, but we appreciate everybody that hung out with us. Anyhow, same time, same place, same beautiful faces. Remember to go give us 10 stars
10 stars.
10.
on the iTunes, and you can now leave comments on Spotify.
Yes, you
So
can.
go check it out. We got to figure out how to get to those. But anyhow, until next week, y'all have a good Sunday evening. Bye now.
Later.